Yeah. Now are we on? You would think after, whatever number we're on these, we would know how to open these things a little bit better. But, whatever.
Who tunes in for the opening?
No one does. You're right. No one does.
They don't tune in for the opening. They don't stick around. They don't stay for the end. There's really no purpose to this podcast at all.
No, that's why it's too good for the radio.
That's right.
And it has no purpose as well. I'm Mike Wimacher alongside Johnny Molson. And I wanted to start this one. People helping people is what we always kind of prided ourselves on. Maybe.
We did?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It sounded good to say. But anyway, I had a situation arise that I wanted to share my experience with folks in case you encounter this. To make sure you don't, if you have kind of basically flaps to a vent to the outside of your home, put a screen or something behind it. Because inevitably, it took many years of living in this home, but eventually birds found their way. You
got a critter.
Yeah. So birds found their way into the vents of our bathroom fan exhaust. Okay? So, yeah.
They were watching your wife take a shower.
Yeah, they're like,
perverted birds.
Hey, check it out.
All right.
Hey, check it out. Charlie,
Yeah.
look at there she is again. That hot blonde is back there.
She's doing that thing with the towel.
Yeah, doing that thing between the leg thing. Hey, check it out. So these idiot birds get stuck in there, okay? And so the wife and I at first, our neighbors had told us the previous week, hey, we've seen them going in and out. We're like, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then the smell comes in, right?
They came out with the pictures and they were handing them out to everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And then they got on the internet and I had to sue them. And boy, I tell you, talk about someone squawking to the police. Seriously. So at first we take a grabber thing, right? We're trying to trying to get back far enough in the vent to pull some of the stuff out. Not working. Grab a yardstick. Not working. So we grab a vacuum, the shop vac, and we stick that in the vent. We start trying to suck things out.
Sure.
Okay. So we get some stuff that comes out, and the smell kind of dissipates for a day, and then it starts coming back. So this past Sunday, we're like, well, we got to do something. So in the interim, I had called a pest removal company on Friday before this past weekend. And they're like, yeah, we're going to get you out there for an assessment. Don't know if that's something we can do, but we'll have a tech come out there between 4 and 6 on Friday. Perfect. I heard bupkis.
Uh-oh.
No phone call, nothing. So I call back Saturday when it's raining outside or whatever. I'm like, I understand you're not going to come out, and things happen. You get busy. I know not every dealing with a pest is going to be the easiest thing. So you get backed up. That's fine. I just want to let you know, you told me you'd be out there, and now can you get me maybe back on the schedule?
It's very generous of you, considering you had peeping Tom birds in there.
Right. These little birds are checking out my wife's nest area, whatever maybe. So so I call them back on Saturday. They're like, oh my God, we're so sorry. Yeah, we're pretty understaffed or whatever. Let me check my manager. Check with the manager. Manager says, I will call you back in the next 24 to 48 hours. Okay. All right. Okay. It's Saturday, whatever.
Meanwhile,
it's a weekend.
the birds have registered the domain Winmock.cam.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, they've gone live. It's like Revenge of the Nerds. They're all set to go.
Right.
And they're like,
they got a Cash App going. And,
right, exactly. Venmo me more for pick. They started an OnlyFans as well. So Sunday afternoon, me and my wife go for a walk. We get home. We're like, you know what? Let's try to extricate more, right? Because it's getting worse again. So as we're doing this, our neighbor who alerted us to the problem on the side of where the vent is, he comes out and goes, oh, yeah, they're in there? Okay, I can help you. So he goes, and he had run his own, electric when he redid his basement. So he had, a kind of a snake almost.
Sure. One of those wire thread things.
Yeah, wire thread things, right? But it was more flexible and whatnot. Yeah. So he's like, do you got a drill? I'm like, sure. So he gets, 15 feet of this stuff, hooks it up to a drill. I'm standing on the ladder, and he's like, feed this in there. And so it starts spinning around. It's got almost like a little robot clamp at the end of it. Mm-hmm. And it just starts
banging on the... Yeah.
And so we have the fan for the bathroom where they're stuck also on. And the next thing... Well, first of all, before we even get to that point, I get up there with the shop vac, and I shove the shop vac in, and a freaking bird flies right at me.
Wow.
Just, boom, straight by my face.
Right.
And I yell an expletive... And I'm like, why was I so? But yeah, it's a bird coming right at your face.
That's what they're going to do. They've got
So then when we commence with the drill and the so as that's going, just bird rumpled up, gross feathers and stuff just flying out of there like it was a scene from Wizard of Oz where the tornado is coming through and it's just debris just flying through my face. So we get a sizable amount of that out. Go back in with a brush. Go in the brush. Next thing you know, another damn bird.
No kidding.
Now, I did not realize this before I had gotten on the ladder. When my wife had started to walk up the ladder, a bird had flown out as well. So 3 birds fly out of that damn thing. All right? So we're getting all this mess, everything. Just so my neighbor, God bless him, he's helping out. He's like, let's do this, let's do that. And so he's up there in the middle of, he's like, let's make sure it's fully clean. Mm-hmm. So, because we want to make sure that we disconnect the webcams too.
Yeah, 6 more come out with laptops.
Right. There's a whole fleet of them in there. It's a cottage industry. So, as he gets up there, he sees one coming towards him, and he goes, "Ah!" And he stops what he's doing, but he sees it turn around and go back up the vent.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So now we're trying to get it out.
They got to go destroy the evidence.
So, right, exactly. The one's like, no, they'll never charge me with anything. No revenge porn here. So he goes, the bird goes back up. So then it comes to, now we're banging around on the pipe trying to get it out. My neighbor goes, well, let's go inside. I got my air pressure gun. Let's go inside. Let's dismantle your bathroom fan and shoot the 120 PSI and try to jettison that last bird out. So we try to do that. Nothing. Okay. Then he's like, well, let's take the fish and go up through the fan area and try to skid them out that way. Well, we couldn't fit those wires through the fan the way the fan was built. We couldn't disconnect it. So he's like, the only thing left you have to do is smoke it out.
No.
And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, just get some newspaper, stand underneath the fan. It's going to suck it out. It's going to be fine. He goes, plus you're in the bathroom. If it, just throw it in the bathtub or in the toilet and the flame will go out.
This is terrible.
And I go, I'm not burning. He's like, you got sage or something then? Whatever. Yeah. Some incense. I'm like, I'm not going to. Well, then my wife goes, well, what about the smoke gun you have for your smoke box for old fashions? I'm like, well, at least that's a controlled environment.
Okay.
So I can control the burn. And so I go in there and I got my smoke gun. And it doesn't hold a lot of wood chips. So I turn it on and I get my aim of flame and I shoot, hickory smoke up in there. Nothing. Did it come out? No, we saw the smoke come out of a couple big puffs, but you're going to need something more sustained. I still think the newspaper's not a way to go. So at that point, I'm like, well, we gotten 3 birds out, a majority of crap out. I'm like, I'm going to put a screen on it, right? So to make sure that the birds that got out don't go back in. Okay. I know there's one stuck in there, but I will call a different. I'm still awaiting a call from the one pest control company.
Yeah.
I'm like, so maybe they'll call back tomorrow. Then they'll send somebody out. And at least I only have 1 bird in there. I don't have 4 birds in there, okay? So I put the screen on it, put the screen on the bottom one, which was for the dryer, nothing in there. And so I get a text from my neighbor later that night. He's out grilling. He's like, oh, these birds are upset. Because he's like, they're flying around. They want their computers back, man. Right. They want their webcams. You cut off their major amount of funding with their OnlyFans and stuff, and then their webcams.
Their programmer is still stuck in there.
Yeah, so
they need him out.
Yeah, they need him out now. So Monday comes and goes, because that's the 24 to 48 hours. I hear absolutely nothing.
Oh, come on.
I hear nothing from the purveyor of that particular pest control. So fast forward to Tuesday earlier this week, I call a different individual. I leave them a message. Haven't heard anything back. So all of a sudden, I get a call Tuesday afternoon, because we're getting ready to head out of town, so it's like, something needs to happen because there's going to be a dead bird when we come back, and no one wants dead bird stench after a vacation. So I get a phone call right around 12:40. My wife had gone home for work, gone home for lunch from work, and she normally does that. And it's a video call, and she normally doesn't do that. She sends me a video. The last remaining programmer is now stuck in our bathroom fan. It has fallen. It has fallen through, found a way through. because it couldn't get out the other way, decided to investigate a different tunnel, and now she's like, do you hear that? I'm like, what? She's like, here, let me show you. Sure enough, there's a little claw coming out of the little vent of the bathroom fan.
No.
So she's like, it's in here. What are we going to do about it? She's like, I got to go back to work by 2 o'clock.
And he's saying, hey, lady, come on, put on the show.
Yeah.
Let's go.
He's like, how dare you?
Yeah.
My family, that was our one source of income. Now we got to eat worms like all the rest of these dumb birds out here.
I'm here. Let them loose.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
Go.
Come on, let your birds fly free, lady. So I immediately drive home. We concoct a scheme. It's like the scene from The Great Outdoors where hoods are up, masks are on, everything. So we're like, all right, we're going to put a cardboard box up. I'm going to take the fan out. The bird will then fall into the box. We will then put another cardboard over the box, a towel over the box, then extradite it out into the yard and let it fly away. And I'll be damned if we didn't do it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Good for you.
The wife had a great idea. We taped 3 sides of the box up. One flap was able for me to work in and out. Mm-hmm. Undid the thing, saw the bird flapping around, got the fan off the moorings, dropped it into the box, took another piece of cardboard, slid it over the top so he wouldn't fly out, disconnected the fan, towel over the box, took it outside, and let the SOB go.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it worked.
You know what? I thought this was going to go all haywire on you, but you did good.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
So now the final bird, I believe, is out. Natural selection did not take over, and we have not heard anything. The smell is gone. I have not heard anything. Still hoping a professional at some point calls us back to make sure.
That would be
so I'd like to have someone with a camera. But overall, we extradited 4 birds without professional help. I think we did okay.
Now you just have to hire an attorney to get your pictures back. But other than
that's the biggest thing. The lawsuit, because they're going to sue for unlawful entry into their domain. There's going to be a lot of back and forth.
Right.
I got to get those pictures scrubbed because who knows? I mean, not only was the wife, it was me. Maybe there are some fans who are paying for me.
There's 9
I don't
hours
want to cut myself to
9 hours of Mike just sitting on the toilet.
Yeah,
staring at the wall.
Is that on Facebook or doing the floss when I'm drying off? So that was my
good for you.
Yeah, I felt accomplished.
Ladies and gentlemen, if your pest control person is not calling you back,
oh no, don't call me. I'm not going to do that again.
He'll concoct something.
Yeah, call my neighbor. He's the one that really brought everything to a T. But yeah, getting the phone call from your wife going, yeah, there's a bird in our bathroom fan.
That's incredible.
Was one I was never expecting, nor was ever expecting to take I felt like, remember when Turtle Man was a thing? And I didn't plan. I was like, this is live action, baby. So kudos to me. Moving on, we have a stop me when it gets weird. So I need to hand you the bell.
Oh yeah, give me the bell there. I got the bell.
It's something we've done many times in the past. So let me. I don't even know where to start with this. Let me introduce you to 77-year-old Almeda Hardwick from Tennessee. Almeda and her new husband have now been together for 6 years of wedded bliss. Now, Almeda's husband is a 23-year-old man, Gary Hardwick. So she's 77. He's now 23. Been married 6 years. The two met at Almeda's son's funeral. Before Almeda spoke to Gary Hardwick from Tennessee, she said she remembered thinking he was the one. Gary, who is younger than one of Almeda's grandsons, previously described himself as really mature for his age and revealed that he had just come out of an unhappy relationship with a 77-year-old woman when he met Almeda. Okay? From then on, they started seeing each other every night. They asked for the blessing of Gary's mom, Tammy, then 48, and his grandmother, Caroline, then 71.
Oh, they could have gone to high school together.
Yeah. Gary proposed to Almeda just 2 weeks after they started dating, with the couple tying a knot on October 26, 2015, by which time Gary was 18. So they met when he was 17.
Oh, my God.
He was 17 at her son's funeral.
Right.
And he goes, yeah, she's the one. And she goes, yeah, he's the one for me. At 17, he had just come out of a relationship with a 77-year-old. What kind of weirdo is this guy? Then they go... Can you just imagine for a moment the conversation asking for your mom and your grandma's blessing that you can now marry the woman that you quote-unquote love? All right? After marrying, the pair moved into Almeda's house with one of her grandsons, who is 3 years older than her new husband. So, hey, new grandpa's here. New grandpa can't drink, but grandson can drink. Mm-hmm. Still not weird enough for you?
It's getting pretty weird. I just have a feeling that the other shoe is about to drop.
And here it comes.
Okay.
You may have held out long enough because despite some ups and downs, including Almeida suffering a heart attack, the couple are stronger than ever admit their sex life is still great.
You know what? Good for them.
Now 6 years on.
What am I ringing the bell for?
Now 6 years on, Gary has shared a video on their TikTok account. So they have a TikTok showing a picture montage of their lives each year. He captured the video saying, not so many more wonderful years to come. She's 77. How many more wonderful years you got there, Gary?
God,
I would say gold digger, but it just seems like he's got a weird fetish.
Yeah, no, I think old broads is his thing. I think he's like he wants to know more about the black and white days.
Yeah, do they do the Charleston before they do the hibbity dibbity? We're going to do the old hibbity dibbity, but first we're going to Charleston.
I meet someone 10 years younger than me, and I'm like, what would we talk about? It's just like there's no way that they could even have a conversation.
Right. What are they? Yeah, exactly. You think about that, and you're like, okay, what is the tie that binds it? Right. And what a weird place.
Because she starts a conversation. Remember Eisenhower? No, I don't remember Eisenhower.
Is that the guy on the $20 bill?
Right.
No, that is not the guy on the $20 bill. Yeah, she's talking about 19-Dickety-3, and he's just like, well, I'm here for Dickety. Awkward boner time there in that particular situation. I mean, you can find love anywhere, but to me, that's just that's kind of a weird kink that guy's going on.
And what? I mean, she's in the sunset of her life.
She's got to be feeling good, though, right? I mean, does she trot out her? Because I would be interested to see what the response is from her peers. Mm-hmm. Is it something they would aspire to have a spouse that is 53 years their younger to have the sex with?
Is this something I can find on TikTok? Do I look up old crazy old broad?
Look up Almeida, Almeda, and Gary Hardwick. From Tennessee.
Almeida and Gary, there they are.
Yeah, so they got their own. Are they doing like TikTok dances and stuff on there? But yeah. Wow, that's the montage probably of their latest one.
I see a lot of him.
Wow, he's not showing off.
Oh, here she is. Yeah, she kind of looks like Edith Bunker.
Oh, look at her go. Yeah. Like she looks like Mama from Mama's Family there.
God.
Yeah, they got a lot of TikTok. Is there any gross TikTok? It seems like they'd be gross TikTok. Is there some making out on that TikTok?
She caught me off guard. She's the sweetest. I love her so much.
Oh my God. This whole thing is just
happening here.
Yeah, this whole thing. Do you think Dr. Ruth is probably Dr. Ruth is happy for her?
I have a feeling.
Is there any guys that Almeida know beforehand be like, I would have taken a run at her?
There's part of me that wonders, are they doing this for the clicks?
Oh, they are.
There's some of this where you look at it and go, there's no way this is real.
Right.
That there are two connivers who have said, okay,
we're going to get famous.
We're going to get TikTok famous and make whatever
money we can off
TikTok
this
coins or whatever you make off of TikTok.
Yeah.
Let's you and I pretend we're smooching and make up some sort of a backstory, because I'm not buying this. I'm not buying this at all.
I'm with you. I'm not buying it either. But let's just hope they stay on TikTok and they don't move to OnlyFans, which we were talking about earlier. Speaking of being old, here is our Ask Reddit question for this week. What was your dang it, I'm getting old moment? I'm still, for me, they're not, it's not that like, I threw my back out with a sneeze. For me, my dang it, I'm getting old moments are always when other people are getting older. Like when, like my friends' kids. Like, so for instance, my niece, or when I read something like, Weezer's Blue album turns 28 this year.
Yeah.
And I go,
see, that stuff
I'm like, pardon me? Like the 1994 is 28 years ago now? Like, that's my, dang, I am old.
Yeah, sometimes the perception of time, but that doesn't bother me so much. I think it's when I forget things like words.
Oh, that is.
And I think,
Yeah. That's
the other day, I don't know what happened. I merged television and Ed Sullivan, and it came out Ed Sullivision, which is kind of a funny little malaprop.
You should trademark that.
But then I couldn't actually say Ed Sullivan. Every time I said it, it was coming out Sullivision. And I mean Sullivision. I mean Sullivision. And I'm sitting there going, "This is it. This is what Alzheimer's is now. I'm going through dementia. This is what's happening."
It gets scary. Yeah. I've found myself sometimes where I will describe things where I'll be in the middle of like, "Hey, sweetie, where's the thing that I use for flipping the burgers on the grill? I grab the meat with those things, and I squeeze them together, and she's like." Tongs? Yes. The barbie. Yes, thank you. That is the word I was looking for.
And you want to go to the doctor and say, you need to do a scan right now because I know it is absolutely being eaten away by itself. It's going.
Yeah. Or it's all
going.
Yeah. Where's we put it on pizza. You sometimes put it on a hamburger, makes it a, what is it? It's made from dairy. Oh, cheese. That's right. I want some cheese. Yeah. And you go, what in the world is going on with me? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always a scary proposition.
Yeah.
But for me, normally more it's that, but normally more it's like, oh, my niece is turning 16. Like, when did that happen? She was 2 at my wedding. How dang, I'm old. I just don't get that.
Yeah.
The 90s being so far removed, which is still weird to me.
It is. It's only weird when I try to explain it to my kids, who obviously they don't have a frame of reference, and to them it sounds like someone talking to us about the 50s or something. It's like Happy Days. It was how zany and old timey that was, but it wasn't.
Right. Yeah. The other thing that when I think about it is, I mentioned Weezer's Blue album, 28 years old. I always gave my dad a bunch of crap for always listening to the oldies, right? And then I think about it, okay, in 1990, if, he's listening to the Beach Boys or the Beatles, for instance, their last album was at 1970. Mm-hmm. And in 1990, he's listening to the Beatles like, the old fart.
Right.
That was only 20 years removed.
Right.
Weezer's now, if I'm listening to Undone the Sweater Song, that is +8 on what I was making fun of my dad for.
That's exactly what happens.
And you go, what the hell? How in the hell did that happen?
And then there's always that weird opposite side of it where people like Henry Kissinger, it's like, how is he still alive? He looked like he was 60 years old in 1973.
Yeah.
Which means he's got to be 140 now.
Right. You're like, how's that math?
There was something on about Lee Harvey Oswald, and that always registers with me. He's like, his wife is still hanging out around Dallas, and he's got 2 daughters who are just, going about their business.
How is that possible?
Still hanging around.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
That is weird to me.
Imagine meeting Lee Harvey Oswald's daughter, not knowing, what's your dad do? Oh,
well, he was,
kill the president.
Exactly.
Oh, mine was in steel.
Yeah, he aimed high and he hit. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of that's hard to wrap your head around.
The passage of time is weird.
Yeah, it really is.
I like watching old videos of the Ed Sullivan Show.
I like it when I have a nice slice of dairy product, whatever that is. I forgot about cheese.
I really thought I needed to take myself to the hospital.
I
couldn't get the word
because
out.
you get stuck in that loop of like
no matter how many times
and
I
then
said
you get mad.
Exactly.
I got mad when I talked about barbecue tongs. I got mad. I physically was getting upset because I could not find the right word, and all I want to do is grill some freaking hot dogs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the things. What things? The things.
Pincher things.
The pincher things that I flip. Yeah. The what? Because you need to get more.
Call a doctor.
Exactly. Just put me in there right now. You got another maybe 30 years of this, Jen.
Right.
Sorry, sweetie. And finally,
I need to be medevaced right now.
Exactly. The birds are just going to have you to themselves. They're going to have the camera to themselves here at some point.
Stupid.
Yes. And finally, today, I always love this. Words that sound dirty but aren't.
Oh, yeah.
So I found an entire list of these. Some I have the definition of. Some you just know. So we'll start with the most obvious ones, right, that you know that you don't need to have the definition of, and others that you want to bring back. We begin with shuttlecock.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that the whole reason why you play badminton at a picnic? Is just to be like, hey, can you grab that shuttlecock over there?
And we don't really have another word for it, do we?
Birdie. Some people call it birdie.
That sounds dirty too.
The dirty birdie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Flip that birdie over here to me.
Right.
Rather than
that's one of those things we haven't really figured out a better word for the shuttlecock, have we?
I watch badminton from time to time in the Olympics. Never have I heard an announcer there say, look at him pound that shuttlecock.
Yeah. We can't seem to find the shuttlecock. I guess we'll go play cornhole.
Instead. Or some bags. Kumquat.
Oh.
That's another good one.
Yeah.
That's a fruit. That's kind of like an orange or smaller, a navel orange, but also a kumquat. Masticate, which is a very good one. Sounds very dirty, but isn't. It's just chewing.
Right.
Just kind of masticate on things a little bit. Moist. Some people think moist.
That's one of those words, though, where I think people saying that it's disturbing has made it disturbing.
True.
Somebody made a big deal out of it, and then it started this Mandela effect, this domino effect of people going, "Oh yeah, that's gross, that's horrible, it's the worst thing in the world," and it's not. It's moist.
I think over the years, you're right.
Dank is worse.
Dank is way worse than moist, and I think you're right. I think back in the day, like that was used so much in advertising, like Betty Crocker's got the moistest cake around, and everyone's.
I would like a moist brownie. Right
Who
now.
wouldn't want a moist brownie? No one wants a dry brownie. You want a nice moist brownie.
Dank.
That's another one that sounds dirty but isn't. Dongle is another one. I didn't realize what a dongle was. I had to look it up. It's any small device that plugs into a computer's USB port.
Yeah.
So you got your dongle just hanging out there on the computer.
Yeah, like a little adapter of something, a little dongle.
You have a double dongle sometimes, depending on what website you're on. And now here's the ones that need to be brought back. These are the ones that I looked up specifically in this particular situation. There is bum fiddler.
Bum fiddler, what's that?
Bum fiddle means to pollute or spoil something, in particular by scribbling or drawing on a document to make it invalid. So a bum fiddler is someone who does precisely that.
No, it's not that at all. The bum fiddler is something else.
Bum fiddler is entirely different. Yeah. You're just writing all over somebody else's thing with the bum fiddler. Up next is clatterfart.
Come on.
According to a Tudor dictionary published in 1552, a clatterfart is someone who will disclose any light secrete. In other words, it's a gossip or blabbermouth.
A clatterfart.
Yeah, clatterfart. So, every neighborhood's got a clatterfart.
Oh, yeah.
They got a gossip, a blabbermouth. So next time you'd be like, hey, when Judy the clatterfart down the street comes knocking at our door, don't tell them about the birds and their OnlyFans cameras that they had in our house.
Right now, there's a bunch of clatterfart birds sitting on a wire talking about your wife's boobs.
They are. Those bastards. I'll get you. Which leads to the next one, dream hole.
What's that?
Dream hole is a small slit or opening made in the wall of a building to let in.
I know that much.
To let in sunlight or
What's on the other side?
To let in sunlight or fresh air.
Oh, okay.
It was also once used to refer to holes in watchtowers used by lookouts and guards, or to openings left in walls of churches, towers to amplify the sounds of bells. They were the dream hole. That's been changed around.
Yeah.
Also, have you heard of the dick?
No, I have not.
The dik is one of the smallest antelopes in all of Africa, standing a little more than a foot tall at the shoulder. It was apparently an imitation of their alarm call, the dik.
A foot tall antelope? That must be ridiculous looking.
Yeah, it's ridiculous looking. It's like Sullivision. It's ridiculous. We got fanny blower.
Oh, no.
Between bum fiddler and fanny blower.
Right.
According to one 19th century glossary of industrial slang, a fanny blower or fanner was used in the scissor grinding industry and comprised a wheel.
That's also dirty.
Don't want to be scissor grinding. A wheel with vanes fixed onto a rotating shaft, also dirty, enclosed in a case of chamber to create a blast of air. In other words, it's a fan, but it's a fanny blower. But they went fanny blower instead back in the day.
That was the most convoluted explanation of whatever that was. I still can't. I'm having trouble
picturing it. A scissor grinding industry and comprised a wheel with vanes, V-A-N-E-S, fixed into a rotating shaft, enclosed in a case or chamber to create a blast of air.
Yeah.
A fan.
Yeah.
Fanny blower.
There's no reason to add words to that.
There's no need to rotating shaft.
Right.
That's when you get to bum fiddler. Lobcocked. Lobcock is an old Tudor English word for an idiot or an unsophisticated, clownish bumpkin. Lobcocked is an equally ancient adjective meaning boorish or naive. Look at that lobcocked coming around here.
I was spreading some mulch, which sounds like it could also be.
Yeah.
And I noticed on the bag it said pine bark nuggets. And I thought, that is a great... I'm going to start using that as an insult. Hey, bark nuggets!
Hey, bark nuggets! What the hell are you doing? Lobcocked over there? You standing next to the clatterfart?
Shut up, you bark nuggets.
Yeah. A couple more. One is just like dream hole, but there's one called tease hole. Apparently, staying with furnaces, a tease hole is simply the opening in a glassmaker's furnace through which the fuel is added.
Oh.
So we don't want to mess with a glassmaker's tease hole.
No.
And finally, sack butt. Sack butt, spelled with one T, is an early Renaissance brass instrument similar to a trombone. A sack butt spelled with 2 T's is a wine barrel. I dare anyone to go to the winery this summer and be like, "Can I see the sack butt that this was in?"
Well, I think that's how we get the term a buttload of something.
Oh, from sack butt?
Because a butt is a certain amount of wine in a cask.
Oh, so it'd be a sack butt.
Refers to a buttload.
Oh, so you get a buttload of things.
There's something like that.
So sack butt begot buttload.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So yeah, that's what we want you to do. We want you to go to a winery and say, "Hey, can I see the sack butt that this was aged in? I want to see the aged sack butt."
Yeah, before I fiddle with your fanny or whatever.
Exactly. And when they say, "I want to see the aged sack butt," they'll show you the Gary and Almeida TikTok and be like, "Here's the aged sack butt right here."
Get out of here, bark nuggets.
Yeah, you bark nuggets. We don't want your kind. Go clatter fart someplace else, you bum fiddler. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that'll do it for this edition of the Too Good for Radio. Appreciate everyone listening in. Share, like, subscribe, and use some of these fine terms in your everyday vernacular.